If you have watched Monster Trucks cartoon or animation, this movie is the real-life version of it. The story follows the fiction of a new marine species that develops a friendship with a high schooler, saving their habitat. The film starts at the oil drilling base where Terravex's CEO Reese Tennyson and geologist Jim Dowd are briefing on the new oil grounds. The team is experiencing difficulties because a large water pocket shows a potential ecosystem. Tennyson, interested in getting to the oil reserve, forces his team to drill deeper, causing a massive breakdown of equipment, a fire outbreak, and a release of 3 subterranean creatures. Tennyson insists that the team remains discreet. He intends to eliminate the life in the water pocket to get past the oil reserve. The scene cuts back to our protagonist, Tripp, whose life seems boring. Coley and his mother talk about how Terravex oil has destroyed the town despite being the primary source of financial support for the town. From the conversation, the viewers understand that Coley is unhappy that his biological dad is not around. Second, the oil company has damaged the town. Third, his disapproval of Rick Lovick's romantic relationship with his mother. Coley learns of the accident at Terravex Oil and discovers that his biological dad is in town. The following scenes are of his typical schedule, going to school and working at the junkyard in the evening until this one evening when he hears bizarre sounds and sees an alien animal. Scared, he throws a tool at it and locks himself in the garage. Unfortunately, the creature is sleek and enters where he is hiding. He fights his way out, locks it in using a crowbar, and calls Rick Lovick, the sheriff. Bad for him, the animal is not found, and Lovick thinks it's Coley's way of making him look like an idiot. Disappointed, Coley decides to lure the animal. He pours oil on the auto wrecker and waits for the animal to turn up. At first, he is mesmerized by it. However, when their gazes lock, the astonished animal shrieks, exposing its shark-like teeth. Startled, Coley drops the remote and breaks it, which makes it impossible to stop the auto wrecker machine. Determined to save him, he pulls him out. However, this does not go well, as the animal perceives him as a threat. Holding him with the tentacles, he opens his mouth, ready to attack, until it sees a crushed piece of junk and figures out that Coley is helping. The animal lets him go and lies back. The creature sees Terravex's monster truck and lets out a disapproving sound. Coley understands he is repulsed and shows it by throwing things at the truck. The animal does the same and even imitates Coley's laughter. The two build an interesting rapport through misunderstandings, rough plays, and humor. Simultaneously, the people from the Terravex team headed by Burke have started looking for the third creature. They find themselves in the junkyard, as Coley and the animal have a communication misunderstanding. Coley attempts to distract them to take the animal out. However, Meredith, Coley's tutor, classmate, and love interest, walks in on him. She attempts to make him drop her, but he quickly disqualifies her because he struggles to keep the monster low from Burke and his team. Unfortunately, during the confrontation, the animal makes a sound, making Burke convinced he knows something. It becomes a chase. The animal powers up the car and roughly drives Coley and Meredith. Although they escape Burke, Meredith is tense because of the rough ride. Coley is angry and storms outside the truck, kicking and ordering it to come out. Confused, Meredith inquires who he is talking to, and to her surprise, she finds the animal in the engine area. They both scream and Coley, giving up on the truck, attempts to walk her home. Interestingly, the truck moves alongside them, and eventually, Meredith lends them her stable for the night. At this point, Coley has discovered what the animal can do, and he decides to modernize his truck to accommodate him as the powerhouse. He recognizes that the animal is intelligent. He can imitate, play, and even power equipment. By morning, the animal fits perfectly. He has found a way to coordinate with him to drive, and they have got so close that Coley named him Creech. Although the relationship awakens a good side of Coley, Meredith raises the issue of protecting Creech and helping him back to his home. Although Coley objects, he later agrees, and they shift course to try and get him home. Coley suggests they start by visiting his dad, Wade Coley, who was present during the incident at Terravex. Unknown to them, Wade sells them out to Burke. Witnessing the confrontation, Creech reacts and creates an upheaval of dust by circling Coley to prevent Burke from taking him. The disruption allows Coley to enter the truck and drive away into the town. Burke and his team chase after them, and the sheriff follows closely behind, his main interest to protect Coley. The chase shows Creech's intelligence and creativity and how he manages to escape Burke and sheriff. Among the many stunts he pulls includes using his tentacles to hold the truck above the sheriff's car. Another is riding on the roof and jumping through an open cart space of a moving train, which takes the trio to the other side of the train track, evading Burke and his team. They drive to Meredith's campsite, where they are forced to sleep outside in a bonfire because they feed the generator oil to Creech. Simultaneously, Jim Dowd realizes the animals have high intelligence and tries to share with Rob Lowe, the main antagonist. Dowd hopes the discovery can make Lowe reconsider digging in the oil reserves, but Lowe won't hear of it. He reminds him of the plan to poison the habitats to kill them. Dowd objects on ethical grounds. However, Lowe reminds him of his unethical dealings with Terrivex, which makes Dowd comply until Coley and Meredith are brought in. Back at the camp, Meredith wakes Coley up, alarmed that Creech is gone. Together, they track him at Terrivex. At Terrivex, they realize he had gone to save the other two of his kind. Unfortunately, before they can formulate a plan, Creech, Coley, and Meredith are captured. Coley and Meredith are taken to Lowe, who is determined to keep the creatures a secret. Lowe deletes Creech's images on their phone and reminds them that, should they decide to speak up, no one will believe them, and even if they do, Burke is there to take care of that. After the threat, he orders them out of the premises. As they are walked out of Terrivex, Dowd interjects the guard and takes them. Dowd tells them he is on their side and is interested in rescuing the animals. Together, they plan to save the creatures and their habitat. That night, Coley asks Mr. Weathers, his boss, to help him dismantle 3 monsters struck. Deprived of tools and space, Coley asks his friend Sam Geldon, a salesperson at a dealership, to help them. The 4 of them modify the 3 trucks. The following day, Dowd interjects the truck loaded with the 3 creatures and drives it to the dealership. Inside the dealership, the 3 creatures reunite, and they are a family. Creech is the child. After a heartwarming reunion, they each load on the trucks and drive up the mountain, leading to the tunnels to their habitat. Terrivex chases them, but through the stunts the creatures pull with their tentacles, they escape. On the way, the sheriff helps by blocking the road and providing a lever for the trucks to jump the cliff. At the tunnels, the group arrived a little too late. The poison has already been inserted. Meredith and Dowd attempt to stop it, but they fail. On the other hand, Burke and Tripp have a head-on battle. Burke tries to push Tripp and Creech into the drilling hole, but he fails, and they end up overturning his truck and throwing it to the machine dispensing the poison. Good for them, Burke's truck stops the poison machine and kills Burke. Creech and Coley fall, but Creech saves Coley from drowning. When he regains consciousness, he finds Creech by his side. Shortly after, the other creatures, including Creech's parents, push his truck to him. They stand in unison as if to thank him before retrieving and leaving Creech behind. Hesitant to go, Coley assures him he is okay, and he knows where to find him, which prompts Creech to reunite with his parents in the water pocket, and together they swim to their habitat. The scene shifts to Coley and the sheriff in the garage working on the monster truck. The film ends in a montage of the characters. Coley and Meredith have become much closer. Cynthia, Coley's mother, and Rick Lovick are happy together. Rob Lowe was arrested, and the authorities fenced and protected the drilling ground.